Tom worked quietly on the outer wall of the moon base, tightening a loose pipe. The sun was just beginning to rise over the horizon, casting a soft glow across the rocky landscape.
Odd.
Tom liked working alone. He was not a hero. He wasn't important. He just fixed machines and made sure things ran smoothly. As he adjusted the tool in his hand, his scanner beeped. He frowned and checked the screen. A small object was falling fast from the sky, too fast. It wasn't a meteor. It was moving. In a controlled pattern, like a ship trying to land, Tom looked up. A flash of light crossed the sky, followed by a small explosion in the distance. Smoke rose from the trees on the far side of the moon's forest zone. His heart began to race. He dropped his tools and rushed to his rover. It wasn't his job to check falling ships, but something inside told him he had to see what it was. Drive took only 20 minutes, but it felt longer. Dust rose behind the rover as it sped across the rocky ground. When Tom reached the edge of the forest, he parked and stepped out. The crash site was quiet. Smoke curled up from a small pod. Half buried in the dirt cautiously, he walked toward it. The pod's door was half open and he could see faint lights inside. "Hello?" Tom called, not sure what to expect. There was no answer. He stepped closer and looked inside. Lying on the floor of the pod was a girl, not a human girl. She had silver-toned skin and long, flowing white hair. Her face was soft, and her eyes were closed. She wore a robe made of thin, glowing fabric. Her hands were trembling slightly, and a small cut on her forehead glowed faintly blue. Tom froze. He had never seen anything like her. Was she dead? He leaned in, listening. She was breathing. "Hey, can you hear me?" he asked gently. The girl stirred. Slowly, her eyes opened bright green, glowing faintly like emeralds. She looked at him, confused and frightened. Tom raised his hands. "It's okay. I'm here to help." She tried to speak, but only a soft sound came out. Her hand reached toward him, then dropped weakly. Tom didn't wait. He lifted her gently into his arms. She was light, almost weightless. Her body was cold. He carried her back to the rover, carefully placing her in the passenger seat. She didn't resist. Her eyes blinked slowly, watching him as they drove back to the base. Tom looked over at her. "You're going to be okay," he said, though he wasn't sure himself. Back at his cabin near the edge of the moon base, Tom laid the girl on his bed and wrapped her in a warm blanket. He turned on the heat and brought water. She drank slowly, her hands shaking. "Who are you?" he asked softly. The girl blinked. Lyra, she said, voice weak and strange, but clear. "Lyra," Tom repeated. "I'm Tom." Around her eyes full of worry. "Don't worry," Tom said. "You're safe here. No one knows you're here." Lyra closed her eyes and sighed. Her body relaxed, just a little. Over the next few hours, Tom watched over her. He checked her injury and used his first aid kit to clean the wound. Her skin healed quickly, faster than any human. She slept a lot, but when she woke, she asked simple questions. "Where?" She asked. "Moon base." "Far edge," Tom answered. She nodded, understanding only part of it. Lyra couldn't speak much, but Tom realized she was learning fast. He showed her pictures of Earth, the solar system, and human settlements. She pointed to her crashed pod and said one word: "Escape." "You escaped?" Tom asked. She nodded slowly. Tom sat down beside her. "Are you being chased?" Lyra paused, then looked at him seriously. She touched her chest and said, "Princess." Tom stared at her. "You're a princess." She nodded again, then looked down, her face sad. It made sense. Now the strange ship, the royal-looking clothing, the calm but serious way she carried herself even when weak. She wasn't just any alien girl. She was someone very important. That night, Tom couldn't sleep. He sat in a chair by the small window, thinking, why did she crash here? Who was after her? And most of all, what should he do now? If he told the base commander, they would report her. She might be taken away, maybe questioned or locked up. No, he couldn't let that happen. Tom looked back at Lyra, who was now sleeping. Peacefully, she trusted him. She was scared, alone, and far from her world. He made a decision. He would protect her, whatever happened next. He would not let her fall into the wrong hands. He didn't know how or why she came to this moon, but she came into his life, and he would do what was right, even if it changed his quiet life forever. The next morning, Tom woke up early. The small cabin was quiet, except for the soft hum of the heater. Sunlight from the twin moons shone through the window, casting a soft glow across the room. Lyra was sitting up in bed, holding a cup of warm water. She looked better today. Her silver skin had more color, and her green eyes looked calm but focused. Tom walked over and smiled. "Good morning. Feeling better?" Lyra gave a small nod. "Yes." "Cue, Tom." Her voice was still soft, but clearer now. She had practiced during the night, using Tom's translator and pointing at pictures on his datapad. She learned fast, smarter than anyone he had ever met. Tom sat across from her. "Lyra, I need to know more. Who attacked you? Why were you in that pod?" Lyra looked down, holding the cup tightly. "Ship was royal transport. I was going to peace meeting. Pirates attacked, guards fought, I escaped." "Pirates?" Tom asked, surprised. "But why attack a peaceful ship?" "Some don't want peace," she said slowly. "They want war, want power." Tom frowned. "So they were trying to stop the meeting?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, if I die, my people will think enemies did it. War will begin." Tom leaned back, trying to understand the full picture. "So, if the pirates catch you, they'll hide the truth. If your people think you're dead, they'll blame someone else and start fighting." "Yes," Lyra said. "That's why I must stay hidden." Tom was quiet for a moment. This was bigger than he thought. It wasn't just a lost alien girl. It was about peace between worlds. Her life could stop a war. "I'll help you," he said at last. "You can stay here until you're strong enough to leave." Lyra looked up at him with gentle eyes. "Thank you, Tom. You were kind." He smiled. "I'm just a repair guy, but I know what's right." Later that day, Tom used his scanner to check the moon's communications. He saw something strange, a bounty alert. Someone had placed a private notice across local systems, offering a large reward for information about a missing silver-skinned female traveler. It didn't say her name, but Tom knew it was about Lyra. He turned off the scanner and walked back into the cabin. "We have a problem." Lyra looked up from the datapad she was using to study Earth's languages. "Someone's looking for you. There's a bounty. That means they know you survived." Lyra stood slowly. "Then we must go." Tom looked at her. "Go where?" "Somewhere they won't find me. I can't stay here." "You are in danger too now?" Tom nodded. He had already thought about that. If someone tracked her signal to the moon base, they might come here next. Didn't want anyone finding her or blaming him. He packed a small bag with supplies. Lyra folded her robe and put on a simple hooded coat that covered her silver skin and glowing hair. She still looked strange, but maybe not strange enough to be noticed. "I know someone," Tom said. "A friend at the old trade station. His name is Juno. He might help us." They left in the evening just before the second moon rose. Tom took a different path, avoiding main roads. His old space cruiser was slow but quiet. They flew through open space, passing dusty asteroid fields and quiet satellites. Lyra sat beside him, watching the stars. "Earth's sky is beautiful," she said. Tom smiled. "You haven't even seen the real Earth yet. Just wait till you see the oceans." Lyra tilted her head. "You'll show me." "Maybe one day," Tom said softly. They reached the trade station after 6 hours. It was an old floating market used by travelers, miners, and small-time traders. Ships from different planets came here to refuel and trade goods. Tom guided the cruiser into a hidden dock on the lower level. He sent a private message to Juno. Soon, a tall figure with blue skin and bright yellow eyes appeared near the ramp. He wore a long coat and smiled when he saw Tom. "Tom, haven't seen you in cycles. What brings you here, friend?" Tom stepped forward and shook his hand. "Need your help, Juno. This is Lyra. She's in trouble. Juno looked at Lyra and raised an eyebrow. She's not from around here, is she? No, Tom said. She's a princess. Juno's smile faded. A princess? Of which world? Zerilia, Lyra said softly. Juno whistled. It's serious. There are 10 ships here right now that would sell your name for credits. I know, Tom said. That's why we came to you. Juno nodded slowly. Come inside, but we must be careful. Inside Juno's private quarters, Lyra removed her hood. The room was lit with soft lights, and alien music played in the background. Juno gave her a warm drink and listened to her full story. When she finished, Juno leaned back in his chair. This is big. If word spreads, everyone will. Want you for power, for reward, or for revenge? Tom looked worried. What should we do? Juno stood and walked to his desk. I have contacts. There is a chance we can reach the Galactic Council. If they know she's alive, maybe they can protect her. Maybe even stop the war. Lyra looked. Hopeful Council will help. They should, Juno said. But we must contact them in secret. No signals from this station? I'll send a courier drone. He turned to Tom. But listen, if the council answers, they won't just want her. They'll want you too. Me. Why? Juno smiled. Because you saved her. The galaxy loves heroes. Tom shook his head. I'm no hero. Lyra looked at him and whispered, You are. To me. Tom and Lyra stayed inside Juno's small ship for the next few days. It was quiet, safe, and hidden under the old trade station. Juno made sure no one came close. He sent out a small courier drone carrying a secret message to the Galactic Council, explaining everything about Lyra's rescue and her current location. Every morning, Tom brought Lyra breakfast from the food station below's. Nothing fancy. Lyra had never tasted human food before. She tried fruit first, making a small face at the sourness, but smiling after. Tom laughed and gave her something sweeter. I like this one, she said, pointing at a round orange fruit. Peach, Tom said. Glad you like it. She nodded. Peach, soft and warm, like home. Tom looked at her. Do you miss Cyrilia? Yes, she replied quietly. But not the rules. Only the sky. Were there many rules? Lyra nodded. Every step, every word. I was taught how to walk, how to sit, how to speak, even how to smile. It was not real. Tom didn't know what to say. He'd always imagined a princess's life as full of riches, beautiful places, and easy days. But Lyra's eyes showed something different, something lonely. Here, she said, placing her hand on her chest. I feel light now, free. Tom smiled, a little embarrassed. I'm just a guy who fixes machines. You're a royal. You are kind, she said softly. That matters more than name. Afternoon, they sat together in the small garden. Dome on Juno's ship. It was filled with glowing alien plants that changed colors with light. Lyra walked among the plants with bare feet, laughing gently as tiny seed balls floated in the air. Tom watched her from the bench. She didn't act like a princess. She acted like someone discovering life for the first time. She came over and sat beside him. Tell me about Earth, she said. Well, Tom began, there are oceans, big blue waters that stretch forever, and green forests with birds singing. The sky turns orange in the evening. People go to parks, eat ice cream, and play music. Lyra listened with wonder. Sounds like a dream. You'd love it, Tom said. If we get through this, I'll show you. Lyra smiled, and her green eyes sparkled under the soft lights. I would like that. By the third day, Juno returned from the upper level with news. I got a signal, he said, stepping into the room. The Galactic Council replied. Channel no name, but they know she's alive. Tom stood up quickly. What did they say? They want to meet, Juno replied. Not here, too dangerous. They've sent a ship-a-peace envoy. It will arrive near the Ring of Quiet Moons. In 2 days, Lyra looked both nervous and relieved. Council will protect peace. They will try, Juno said. But others may already be watching. Tom asked, Can we trust them? Juno looked at him seriously. The council values peace, but they also value balance. If too many sides are involved, they might choose politics over truth. You must be careful. Lyra stood tall, her voice clear. I will go. I will tell them the truth. Tom looked at her with pride. Then I'll go with you. That evening they sat once again in the garden dome. Stars above the clear glass roof twinkled in silence. Tom turned to Lyra. Are you scared? She nodded slowly. Yes, but not of the council. Spear losing this. She looked at him gently. This moment, it's peace. You. Tom's heart beat faster. He had never expected such words. Didn't know what to say. I don't belong in palaces, he said softly. I'm not royalty. Lyra smiled. I don't want a palace. I want someone who listens, someone real. They sat in silence, side by side, under the stars. The next morning, Juno prepared his ship for travel, gave them cloaks to hide their appearance just in case. The ship rose slowly from the hidden dock and slipped into deep space, quiet and unseen. Lyra stood at the front window, watching stars drift past. Tom stood beside her. Do you trust them? He asked. I trust you, she replied. That is enough. The journey took hours, but it passed quickly. Juno's ship entered the space between the quiet moons. The council ship was already there, floating calmly. It looked like a silver ring, with lights moving around it like flowing water. Tom had never seen anything like it. A soft voice came from the ship. You are welcome, Princess Lyra of Xyrelia, and companion, Tom of Earth. Please come aboard. They entered slowly. Inside the council ship, the walls were smooth and glowing. Soft music played in the background. Different alien leaders stood in a large circular chamber, each from a different world. They wore robes, suits, or armor, but all looked at Lyra with respect. A tall woman with golden skin stepped forward. Princess, your message reached us. We are thankful for your safety. This man beside you, he is the one who helped you. Yes, Lyra said. Tom, he saved me when no one else could. The councilwoman turned to Tom. Human Tom, your act of kindness may have saved more than a life. You may have saved peace itself. Tom blinked, not knowing how to respond. We will speak more tomorrow, she said. For now, you are our guests. That night, Tom and Lyra were given rooms with wide windows showing the stars. Tom couldn't sleep. He stood by the window, looking out at the galaxies beyond. There was a soft knock. He turned. Lyra stood at the doorway. Can't sleep? He asked. She walked in and stood beside him. It's too many thoughts. They looked out in silence. This all feels too big, Tom said. I don't know where I belong in all this. Lyra looked at him. With me, Tom turned to her. Are you sure? Yes, she said softly. The galaxy may call me princess, but I choose where my heart goes. The next morning, Tom and Lyra woke to soft light filtering through the large windows of the council ship. The stars outside glittered like tiny diamonds on black velvet. The quiet beauty could not calm the nervous feeling growing inside them both. After breakfast, they were led to the main chamber of the Galactic Council. The chamber was huge, shaped like a circle with high walls covered in glowing symbols. Alien leaders from many worlds sat in elegant chairs arranged around the room. Their eyes watched Tom and Lyra closely. Tom felt out of place. His plain clothes and simple manner stood out among the richly dressed aliens. Felt his heart beat faster, but he looked at Lyra, who stood tall and calm beside him. A tall figure stepped forward. She was a woman with silver hair and soft blue skin. Her eyes held wisdom and kindness. She spoke in a clear voice that echoed through the chamber. Princess Lyra of Xyrelia, we are relieved to see you safe. Your disappearance brought fear across many worlds. Your rescue by a human shows a rare kindness that this galaxy needs. Turn to Tom. Human Tom, your actions saved a princess and prevented a war. For this, the Galactic Council thanks you. Tom bowed his head. I only did what anyone would do. The woman smiled. Perhaps, but your courage is unusual. The council has discussed your role in this matter. There was a pause. Tom and Lyra exchanged curious looks. The councilwoman continued. The council declares Tom as the royal groom of Princess Lyra. This is a position of honor and unity, meant to symbolize the bond between Xyrilia and Earth. A murmur rose among the leaders. Some nodded in approval. Others whispered quietly. Tom's face turned pale. Royal groom? You don't understand? Lyra stepped forward. It means we are joined. Not only by chance, but by choice. This union will strengthen peace between our peoples. Tom looked down, unsure. He was an ordinary man, a simple technician. How could he be chosen for such a role? The councilwoman noticed his hesitation. Tom, this is not a demand. It is an honor and a responsibility. You may take time to decide. Lyra reached out and took Tom's hand gently. I want you by my side. Tom looked into her green eyes, filled with hope and trust. His fear began to melt. After the council meeting, Tom and Lyra were taken to a quiet room overlooking a glowing nebula. Tom sat down heavily. Why me? He asked quietly. Why not someone from Xyrilia or the council? Lyra smiled softly. Because you saved me without fear. You showed kindness when others might have looked away. That means more than any title. Tom looked at his rough hands. I'm not sure I can do this. You don't have to be perfect, she said. We will learn together. Tom smiled faintly. I like that idea. The following days were filled with meetings, introductions, and lessons about Xyrelian customs. Tom tried to learn quickly, but the formal words and strange rituals made his head spin. Lyra was patient. She explained quietly, the royal groom is a symbol, he shows, that two worlds can come together in friendship. One afternoon, Tom watched as Lyra practiced the formal greeting of her people. She stood tall, hands crossed gently over her chest, eyes steady. Tom clapped softly. You look like a queen, Lyra laughed. Maybe one day. Tom shook his head. One day, you will be more than a princess. We will be a leader. Lyra looked at him with hope. If you are with me, despite the grandeur of the council ship, Tom missed the simple life he had on the moon base. He missed the stars close enough to touch and the quiet hum of his tools. One evening, he found Lyra looking out the window, lost in thought. What are you thinking? He asked. She smiled softly about home. About what is waiting for me there. Do you want to go back? Lyra shook her head. Not yet, but I want to be ready. Tom took her hand. We will be ready. Together. News traveled fast through the galaxy. Some were happy about the new bond between Earth and Xyrilia. Others watched with suspicion. One morning, a message arrived from the council. It invited Tom and Lyra to a grand ceremony. There, Tom would be officially recognized as the royal groom. Lyra's eyes shone with excitement and nerves. Tom smiled and squeezed her hand. We've come a long way. She nodded. This is just the beginning. That night, Tom lay awake. Thinking about the future, he was no longer just a simple man. Now he held a role that could change the fate of worlds. He reached for Lyra's hand and held it tightly. We will face this together, he whispered. Lyra smiled in the darkness. Together. The council's announcement spread across many star systems. Everywhere. People talked about the strange and unexpected news. A human technician from a distant moon base had been named royal, groom to the Xyrelian princess. Some people cheered. Others were confused. A few were not happy at all. Could ignore it. The galaxy was changing, and Tom, a quiet man who once fixed machines alone, was now at the center of it. Inside the council ship, Tom sat quietly in the garden dome. The stars above twinkled peacefully, but his thoughts were not so calm. He held a small piece of metal in his hand, part of the tool he used every day on the moon base. It reminded him of who he was before everything changed. Lyra entered the garden, her soft footsteps barely making a sound on the floor. She sat beside him, watching him with gentle eyes. You are quiet today, she said. Tom nodded. Just thinking about the ceremony? She asked. Yes, about everything. Lyra looked at the stars. It is a big change, I understand. Tom sighed. I'm not sure if I'm the right person for this. Lyra turned to him. Are the right person to me? He looked at her, surprised. But I don't have power or status or training. I'm just me. You have heart, she said softly. You cared for someone lost and afraid. You didn't ask for anything in return. That is more than many with crowns or titles. Tom smiled a little. You always make things sound better. I only speak the truth, Lyra replied. There was a long silence between them. Then Tom asked the question that had been on his mind since the council meeting. Do you want this, Lyra? Or are you only saying yes because of duty? Lyra blinked slowly. She didn't answer right away. I was born into duty, she said at last. All my life I followed the rules. But when I met you, everything changed. Gently. When I was in that pod, alone and frightened, I didn't know if I would live. But you saved me. You didn't care who I was. You gave me warmth, safety, kindness. That was the first time I felt free. Tom's throat felt tight. I want to walk beside someone who sees me as a person, not just a princess. Someone who chooses me, not because of power, but because of who I am. Tom stared at her. Her words touched something deep inside him. I do choose you, he said quietly. Not because of any title, because I care about you, because I feel something with you that I've never felt before. Lyra's smile lit up her whole face. Then that is enough. She whispered. The next morning preparations for the ceremony began. Council staff arrived with robes, scrolls, and glowing decorations. Soft music played throughout the ship, and messages from across the galaxy poured in, many sending blessings. Few expressing concern. Tom was given a simple ceremonial sash, made of Xyrelian silk, light as air, and shining faintly in the light. Lyra wore a gown that flowed like water, made of shimmering fabric from her home world. They were not alone anymore. Everyone on the ship treated them with respect and care, but still, Tom felt like this wasn't about being perfect. It was about being real. Juno, who had joined them for the event, clapped Tom on the shoulder with a big grin. Now, he said, from wrench turner to royal partner. Tom laughed. Don't remind me. I'm still getting used to it. You'll do fine, Juno said, because you never wanted it. That's what makes you right for it. Just before the ceremony began, Lyra met Tom in a small, quiet room. No guards, no officials, just the two of them. She looked nervous for the first time. Tom noticed and asked, Are you all right? I am, she said, but this is more than a title now. This is real. Tom took her hands. I know, and I'm ready if you are. I am, she said. Not because the council said so, but because I choose this. So do I, Tom said, smiling. Let's show them. The ceremony was held in the council's great chamber. The tall ceiling sparkled like the night sky. People from many worlds watched through screens and streams both near and far. Lyra stood at one side of the ring. Tom stood at the other. The councilwoman walked to the center and spoke in a calm, strong voice. Today, we witness a joining of hearts, not arranged by power, but brought together by trust and kindness. She turned to Lyra. Princess Lyra, do you accept this union? I do, Lyra said, voice clear and steady. Then she turned to Tom. Human Tom. Do you accept this role? Not out of duty, but by your own heart? I do, Tom said, without hesitation. Then let it be known, the councilwoman said, that from this day forward, Tom of Earth and Lyra of Xyrelia are joined not just as symbols of peace, but as partners in life. The chamber was filled with soft music. Lights danced across the walls. A gentle breeze moved through the air like a whisper of blessing. Lyra and Tom turned to each other. She smiled. He smiled back. They didn't need more words. This moment said everything. After the ceremony, they walked together through the garden dome. Flowers from different worlds bloomed around them. Tiny lights floated in the air like stars. Lyra leaned on Tom's shoulder. You were brave today. Tom chuckled, was terrified. She looked up. You didn't show it? That's because you were there, he said. You always give me strength. She smiled. And you give me peace. They walked hand in hand, no longer just strangers from different worlds. Now, they were something more. A new chapter had begun, not just for them, but for two very different peoples. And it all started with a simple act of kindness in the quiet woods of a forgotten moon. The sky outside the council ship had turned, a deep shade of violet. Stars shone brightly as the final preparations for the public ceremony began. This time, the event would not be private. It would be broadcast across hundreds of worlds. Millions of people, humans and aliens, would watch this special day. In his guest room, Tom stood in front of a tall mirror. He wore a ceremonial robe of soft blue and silver, with a sash bearing the symbol of Unity, a shining star between two open hands. It was simple, yet beautiful. He still couldn't believe this was real. A soft knock came from the door. Come in, Shh, Tom said. Juno entered, smiling warmly. You look like someone from a fairy tale. Tom laughed nervously. I feel like someone from a dream I don't understand. Juno stepped forward and adjusted Tom's collar. You're doing something rare? Something good? Not many people can stand up in front of the galaxy and stay true to who they are. I'm trying, Tom said. But I never thought this would happen. Never thought I'd be standing next to a princess, much less being called her partner. Juno gave a gentle pat on the shoulder. It happened because you have a kind heart, and that's something this galaxy needs more of. Tom nodded slowly. Thank you, Juno, for everything. In another part of the ship, Lyra stood near a window, looking out at the stars. Her dress sparkled like falling stardust flowing around. Her like waves, her long silver hair was braided in soft curves, with small jewels woven through. A Xyrelian attendant smiled and said, You look like a queen already, princess. Lyra gave a soft smile. I don't feel like one. I feel like me. That is a good thing, the attendant replied. Lyra looked out the window. Somewhere beyond the stars was her home planet, waiting. But for the first time in her life, she wasn't nervous about returning. She wasn't alone anymore. She turned toward the door and walked calmly toward the ceremony hall. The grand ceremony was held in a wide open space at the center of the council ship. The ceiling above was clear glass, showing the beautiful stars and passing comets outside. Hundreds of guests stood in a circle around a glowing platform. Soft music played, blending earth melodies with Xyrelian harmonies. The sound was calming, almost magical. Tom stepped onto the platform, his eyes searching the crowd until he saw her. Lyra appeared at the other side of the platform. As she walked toward him, the lights gently followed her steps. The crowd was silent, watching in awe. When she reached Tom, she gave him a small smile. You look beautiful, he whispered. So do you, she replied softly. A representative of the Galactic Council, the same silver-haired woman from before, stepped forward with a warm expression. People of many worlds, she began. Today we celebrate more than a joining. We celebrate peace, kindness, and the bond between hearts that know no border. She turned to Lyra. Princess of Xyrelia, do you accept this bond? Not just as a royal gesture, but as a promise from your heart? Lyra nodded. I accept. Then she turned to Tom. Human Tom, do you accept this bond? Not as a duty, but with love and honor? Tom looked into Lyra's eyes and smiled. I do. Then by the power of this council, and with the blessing of every peaceful world watching, I now declare you united. The platform glowed brightly. Soft wind passed through the chamber, even though there were no open windows. It was a symbol an old Xyrelian tradition said that love could move the air. Just like it moved hearts, Lyra and Tom stood facing each other. No more speeches were needed. They were joined, not by force, not by politics, but by choice. The crowd applauded. Some cheered. Some wiped away quiet tears. Across distant planets, people watched their screens. Humans smiled with pride. Xyrelian families held each other. On other worlds, beings of different shapes and colors clapped or hummed in celebration. Something rare had happened. Two worlds had come closer not through war, but through understanding. After the ceremony, a celebration was held in the Garden Dome. Tables filled with dishes from many planets were set up. Floating lights danced in the air, changing colors. As music played, Tom and Lyra walked through the garden slowly, hand in hand. "You did well," Lyra said with a playful smile. "So did you," Tom said. "I didn't trip, so I call that a success." They both laughed. "Do you think this will really help?" Tom asked. "Leave me the peace part." Lyra nodded. "Yes. It may not solve everything, but it shows what's possible. And sometimes, that's enough to start change." They stopped near a tree with silver leaves. Lyra touched one gently. "My people used to believe these trees could carry wishes. Do you have a wish?" Tom asked. "I already have it," she said, looking into his eyes. Tom felt his heart grow warm. "Me too." As the night continued, more guests came to speak with them, leaders from other planets, curious travelers, even a few humans who had arrived from nearby colonies. Some asked questions. Others simply gave kind wishes. Tom stayed close to Lyra, always watching, always listening. He didn't feel like a royal. He still didn't understand politics or galactic traditions, but he understood her, and that was enough. Later, when the celebration had quieted and most guests had left, Lyra and Tom sat alone under the glowing tree. Tom looked up at the stars. "Where do we go from here?" Lyra rested her head on his shoulder. "Home, to Xyrelia. But only if you want to come." Tom looked at her. "Anywhere with you is home." She smiled, closing her eyes. And under that quiet, starry sky, they sat in peace-due souls from different worlds, who had found something rare and beautiful together. The next morning, the council ship floated quietly near the edge of the Xyrelian star system. The celebrations were over. The galaxy had watched, listened, and for now, accepted the union between Earth and Xyrelia. Tom stood by the window of their private room, staring out at the glowing blue planet below. Xyrelia looked peaceful from above Greenland's silver. Oceans and floating islands drifted across the sky like clouds. Behind him, Lyra was finishing a call with the council leaders. She turned to him. Her expression was soft and calm. "They are ready for us," she said. "The royal house has accepted you." Tom raised an eyebrow. "Just like that?" Lyra smiled. "Not just like that. There were questions, of course, but your actions speak louder than words." Tom turned back to the window. "So, really going down there to your world? To live as what exactly?" Lyra came beside him. "You will live as yourself. The same person who helped a stranger, who listened with kindness, and who walked beside me through everything. That is all you need to be." Tom gave a small nod. "As long as I'm not expected to wear a crown and give speeches every day." Lyra laughed gently. "No speeches, just your honest self." The shuttle touched down in a quiet part of Xyrelia, far from the royal city. Lyra had asked to return slowly, without large crowds or grand welcomes. She wanted to show Tom her home, in her own way, honest and calm. The air on Xyrelia was light and cool, the faint scent of flowers in the breeze. Floating plants moved with the wind, and small glowing birds flew between the trees. Tom stepped out of the shuttle and took a deep breath. "This place. It feels like a dream," he said. Lyra walked beside him. "It was my childhood home. A royal retreat far from the capital. No politics, no rules, just peace." They walked together along a smooth white path that curved through the garden. Gentle light poured from the floating sky stones above. Everything felt soft and alive. They reached a quiet house with glass walls and curved rooftops. It was surrounded by silver trees and clear pools of water. The place looked like something from a storybook. Tom looked around slowly. "This is where we'll stay. For now," Lyra said, "until you feel ready for the city." He turned to her. Think I'll ever feel ready? She smiled. I think you're already stronger than you know. Your days passed peacefully. Tom spent his time learning about Xyreliot's plants, languages, history, and customs. Lyra helped him each day, explaining things with patience and care. They laughed often, walked through the gardens, and talked under the stars. Tom even learned to cook a few local dishes. One evening, he surprised Lyra with a warm meal made from soft root and glowing berries. This is good, she said, taking another bite. Tom grinned. Glad I didn't burn it. You're learning fast, she said. You might make a better cook than a royal groom. Let's not tell the council that, Tom said with a wink. One morning, a message arrived from the capital. The royal family requested a visit. It was time for Tom to meet the high leaders of Xyrelia. Lyra looked at him with gentle eyes. We don't have to go today, she said. Only when you feel ready. Tom thought for a moment, then stood straight. I'm ready. I want them to see the real me, not a perfect man, just someone who cares. Lyra smiled proudly. That's exactly who they need to see. The royal city was a place of beauty and harmony. Floating bridges connected tall crystal towers. Gentle lights moved through the streets, and music played from the walls as people passed. Tom and Lyra arrived in a quiet transport. No crowd waited, just a few royal guards and kind faces. Inside the palace, the royal council sat in a half circle. Their eyes were curious but not cold. Tom stepped forward with Lyra beside him. He bowed politely, then lifted his head. I don't come with great knowledge, he said, or noble blood. I come only with honesty and respect. One of the council elders leaned forward. And do you love our princess? Tom looked at Lyra. With all my heart, the elder nodded. Then we welcome you, the others murmured in agreement. Lyra's hand found Tom's and she squeezed it gently. Later that day, Tom and Lyra stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The sky was full of flying ships and glowing creatures. Children played on floating parks. Music drifted through the wind. I never imagined I'd be here, Tom said. In a palace. On another planet. You didn't imagine it, Lyra said. But you earned it. He looked at her. You ever miss the time before all this? Before everything changed? Lyra thought for a moment. I miss the quiet of the forest. I miss the simple moments. But I don't want to go back. Me neither, Tom said. They stood together, side by side. The wind moved through Lyra's hair. Tom placed his arm gently around her shoulders. In the weeks that followed, Tom became a quiet figure of peace and friendship. He didn't lead armies or give great speeches. Instead, he listened to others, helped with simple problems, and treated everyone with respect. Children from different planets sent him drawings. Farmers sent messages of thanks. Travelers from Earth came to learn about Xyrelia. A new bond was growing strong and calm, and through it all, Tom and Lyra stayed close. They built a home not only in the royal city, but also in each other's hearts. One night, as they sat under the stars once again, Tom looked at Lyra and asked, Do you ever wonder how it all started? She nodded. A broken ship, a forest moon, a quiet man who opened his door, and a silver-haired girl who changed my life, Tom said. They smiled, leaning closer. Lyra whispered, I think we saved each other. Tom closed his eyes. Yes, we did. And high above them, the stars shone brighter witnesses too. Love that had crossed worlds and changed the galaxy, one quiet moment at a time.